How did the beef start between Max and Smoke?
You know that?
Do you know that?
No, I don't know. Why are we going back down this damn rabbit hole again?
See, now we're
This
going
shit
down
gonna
the
be
rabbit
over.
hole, but you can come up here and ask any question you want. I don't understand that.
If you pay attention, though, you'll find out. You will see.
Bro, what do you mean pay? Bro, stop it, man. I know everything. I know what's going on. I ain't missing
So
nothing.
now he knows who's.
Oh, well, but then knowledge. When every time we ask you something, you say you don't know. So which one is it? Knowledge? Okay, so I asked you also. We asked you also. How did the beef between me and Matt start? Everybody else know, but you don't.
Bro, that shit was so long ago. No, I don't know what the fuck y'all started beefing over. But the shit is dumb. It didn't need to be over
Okay,
with.
right. But see, that's the thing. How is it done when you don't know?
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because none of y'all know each other personally, and this is YouTube.
I said that at first. So what gave Max V the right to put my wife on his page and make $600 and talk shit about my wife when she done nothing? If that's YouTube, if I took hold on, wait a minute. No. So that's not stupid on my end, bro. That's what Max did. I didn't tell him to do that. Max done it.
Anti-Afro Spengalis. Now, the reason for playing the piece about Max V is because it does relate in two ways to what you're going to be hearing. You're going to be hearing an example of engaging in behaviors and expecting people to have no reaction to them, such as you heard. And it just so happens that Max has a lot in common with the individual you heard the Smoke and Mrs. Smoke talking to. Goes by the name of supposedly knowledge. I say no knowledge based on his disposition towards these situations that we're going to be talking about. So that's how I'm going to refer to the person. No knowledge. As you heard, he absolutely was making every effort to at least pretend he didn't know what was going on, while he was also saying he knew everything. Contradictions, also identical to how Max V presents himself. But the one area that absolutely strikes home as far as what we're going to cover today can only be conveyed in the words of the person who speaks them. Stay tuned and I will return.
Bro, look, listen. As long as ain't nobody calling the police on each other, ain't nobody calling nobody's job, then we all fair.
Just so we're sure, we all heard the same thing. I'm going to play this again. This comes from no knowledge.
Bro, look, listen. As long as ain't nobody calling the police on each other, ain't nobody calling nobody's job, then we all fair.
Okay, no knowledge goes right ahead and tears out a page from Max V's book of I don't give a damn about your civil rights. I don't give a damn about your constitutional rights. I don't give a damn about your crime victim rights. Remember, Max V came on and looked dead in the camera, straight into the lens, and told me and Rev G just that. After we were threatened, he stated, it's just YouTube, and we shouldn't be calling the police. This sentiment, this bizarre, outrageous sentiment, is one that no knowledge appears to be adopting. But hold on, people. Hold on. No knowledge has conditions to this sentiment. What he's saying is, don't you dare call the cops when it comes to people that I rock with. Don't you dare call the jobs when it comes to people that I rock with. Just the same, the people that I rock with, it's all good if they call the cops or They call the jobs of people whenever they feel threatened. And how do we know this? Well, just listen.
What's the name? Binary called the cops on Red Pill. He called them on Red Pill. But he ain't do shit. He ain't do shit. He let him get away with that shit.
As you heard grown man point out, it's a matter of fact. It's a matter of confirmation. It's a matter of the whole world hearing straight from the horse's mouth. Binary code calling the cops. And no knowledge sits up under binary code. It is so amazing how people seem to think they can go in these spaces and say whatever they want to say, and they think it dissipates into thin air. No, it's set in stone forever. It doesn't ever go away. People have wishful thinking that what they say leaves forever to be forgotten. It's just the opposite. The hypocrisy associated with this behavior, you can't get any worse than this. But let me tell you something about the bullying aspects of this. I'm going to be addressing in a few minutes. We can't ever lose sight of the fact that Umar Johnson set the chain in motion, and no knowledge is yet another fool in the chain. Do not ever forget Umar Johnson's role. I certainly won't. Stay tuned, and I will return.
I need y'all to help me shut them down. Y'all want addresses? I got addresses. Y'all want addresses? I got addresses. Let me get your pen. Get your pen. If you live in I'm going to give you Gerald Palmer's address right now. Gerald Palmer. We have another address for Gerald Palmer. Or he also works at the Lenore Honor. I have his address as I ain't threatening nobody. Andrea Stewart. She's the one on YouTube, Anti-Afro Svengali. Anti-Afro Svengali. She's in California. I want to pull up on her when I go out to Cali next month for the parent training. I didn't threaten nobody. This is what William Clay did. I need this motherfucker's address. I need this motherfucker's address. I'm going to go see him this weekend. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Find Willie Clay's address. Find out where he worked. I'm going to see him when I get to D.C. this weekend. I ain't threatening nobody. Gerald Palmer. He's another one. You can find him on YouTube. Gerald Palmer. Find that coward's address. Work or home. Find it. I'm pulling up on him. I didn't threaten nobody. Mukasa Africa. He's been hiding out lately, but he started the whole shit. He a little bitch ass who used to work at the same charter school, Keppera Charter School. Okay? Find that bitch ass nigga because he started this. He started the whole thing 5 years ago. Mukasa Africa, I haven't forgotten about you. Okay? I'ma see your bitch ass. I didn't threaten nobody. Monty Woodgrain, I'ma fuck him up too. So if you can get Monty's address, it's time for me to see Monty too. I didn't threaten nobody. Monty Woodgrain, I'm in your ass. Lenore Honor, I'm in your ass. William Clay, I'm in your ass. Gerald Palmer, I'm in your ass. Anti-Svengali, I'm in your ass. In Mukasa Africa, I'm in your ass. Fuck court. Fuck the court. I want Mukasa Africa's address. I'm gonna find that little bitch. I didn't threaten nobody. William Clay, Gerald Palmer, Mukasa Africa, Lenore Honor, Monty Woodgrain, Andrea Stewart. I need home addresses. I need job addresses. Find these 6 people for me, please. I'm out. I didn't threaten nobody.
We can't forget Umar Johnson got this going. Umar Johnson, of course, is not specifically responsible for individual behavior of people who decide to follow his idiotic commands. Every person is uniquely responsible for their own behavior. The backstory. Listen, about 3 weeks ago, Gerald had a live stream on his channel, and we were talking about the issue of how people are trying so hard to act as if these threats never occurred. People can act like the threats never occurred. People can act like it's business as if nothing ever happened. But guess what? Those of us who experience this have a right to make sure it remains front and center, because there are people who simply want to go on consorting with those who put the lives of children at risk and innocent family members at risk. It had nothing to do with anything on YouTube. Many of us feel that's unacceptable. So we were simply talking about this topic. And here comes No Knowledge barreling into Gerald's live stream, making a beeline for who? Me, anti-Afro Svengalis. I've never had a conversation with this person. He's made these insulting comments. I typed these comments. I deleted the comment just right away. That wasn't good enough for him. Mind you, he came over to the space where we were. We didn't go over to where he is or was. He came over into Gerald's live stream. He knew the live stream was there. He was looking. He is determined to get into that live stream and come for me and do whatever he wanted to do. He kept persisting. So Gerald decided, I'm going to let you on, but you had better know you better be in line or I'm going to boot you. He was saying, no, I want to say my position. So he comes on and he is escalated, just going off. Worse than you would hear him talking to the Smoke and Mrs. Smoke, like he's agitated. I should say probably a better word. And we're going, what in the hell is going on here? What is prompting this? Remember now, this is a person who says you shouldn't be calling people's jobs or the cops. And you just heard Umar Johnson telling people to do what? And have you seen No Knowledge posting any videos castigating Umar Johnson or the people who followed his vile and disgusting commands? No, he's coming into the space where we are, where we have taken action to report the truth, not taken action to report lies to law enforcement or to people's employers. He couldn't even articulate why he was angry. He was just screaming and yelling and, you have ruined everything. He's trying to come for me, and Gerald is redirecting him saying, what is your issue? You're saying we ruined this and we ruined that. You used to be different. And he just never was able to really come out and say what his issue was. But what he did end up doing after he got done talking, or trying to, I don't want to say talking, he was like off the rails. Then we get later on in the day screenshots and video clips. He ran right over to Binary Code's channel and called himself bragging about he took care of business over in Gerald's live stream. Huh? This is the person, Binary Code, who sat on those attack panels, laughing and cheering on, day after day. People, innocent people whose jobs were called and lies were told. Bald-faced lies were told on them. Cops were called and bald-faced lies were told on totally innocent people. And No Knowledge is sitting up under Binary Code. Do you see the hypocrisy? Absolutely 100% bullying. So when you hear this word bullying, look at those words here. This is what you call bullying, people. Getting together in a live stream of I don't know how many people, making up these lies, conspiring and carrying out phone calls to people's employers and contractors, making up shit from whole cloth, and you have binary code sitting there laughing about it, and no knowledge sitting up under binary code, not having any problem with it. But he has a problem with the truth being reported. Wishful thinking that no knowledge actually believes that what he says, people like me are actually going to listen to him. He fails to see the logic that the reason why law enforcement is engaged, the reason why employers are contacted, is because they're the only people that these individuals are going to listen to. Do you think anybody is going to appeal to no knowledge when they are threatened, when their families are threatened, when their children are threatened with sexual violence? They can go to no knowledge, and no knowledge is going to set them straight, and they're going to stop doing what they're doing? That anybody in the underbelly sector of YouTube is going to stand up to these freaks, and these freaks are going to listen to them? No. The only way people like this can be dealt with is with the law. They have absolutely no concept of community. They have no respect for anybody. And they don't even have respect for the law. They fear the law. They fear being incarcerated or deported or fined. That is what people of this ilk fear. This is what they're deciding to do. Nobody's forcing them to engage in this behavior. And as for someone's employment or job, I stated this in a previous video. That is not my concern. That is the concern of the individual who decided they would violate the oaths that they took for the position that they accepted. That has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me or anyone else who decides to file a grievance. Why in the hell are there regulations established at any person's place of employment? First things first, be held accountable for the behavior that is being asserted as a violation. Trying to come onto YouTube and intimidate people and bullying people out of their civil rights, their constitutional rights, and their crime victim rights is bullshit. And if anybody feels they cannot stand up and defend their rights, they don't have any call to say a damn thing to me because I am, or to anyone else. If anybody elects not to defend themselves, they can elect not to defend themselves. But it's bullying when people stand up for their rights and people try to set upon them and tell them they shouldn't be doing this and they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be looking after their families. They shouldn't be looking after themselves. How in the hell are you going to look after your family if you're not even looking after yourself? If you're not handling business by getting the authorities involved when people are attacking you, you can't look after your family. It starts with the leadership in the home. If the leadership in the home is under siege, the entire household is at risk. So no knowledge is a hypocrite trying to come on here to dictate to people who they should be calling or not, when, why, and what for or not. However, the rules change when it applies to people who he rocks with. It's across the board. When you engage in these types of behaviors, the only people that these individuals are going to step and fetch to the legal system, their employers. There are rules, there are regulations, there are reasons for these laws that are in place. There is a reason why YouTube continues to revamp their regulations. People would like you to think that only in the underbelly YouTube streets does this go on. No, this problem is rampant throughout YouTube. That's why YouTube is coming up with all these different policies and regulations for people to take the initiative to protect the spaces that they're in. They're telling you, you do not have to allow people like this into your spaces. It's also prominently posted everywhere within the regulations of YouTube to contact 911 in the event of an emergency, and or contact the authorities if there are other concerns that appear to be of the criminal nature. YouTube does not mediate disputes. They do not determine whether or not someone is slandering you. They tell you to take legal action. Same thing with the copyright issues. You need to take it to court. So this is the space that people have agreed to come to and participate, and they sign on the dotted line or check the box. But they're here belly aching because people are doing just that? Give me a break. The immaturity. These people need a space to be able to abuse people. And they want to be able to do it with impunity. So they're trying to set up a code that they expect you to abide by. It's their own rotten, rancid code. So we have no knowledge who is the latest to come along and expect people to actually listen to this and abide by it. Whoever is foolish enough to acquiesce to this nonsense, go for it. You are not going to impose anything of the kind upon me. This is not no knowledge's space. He doesn't own YouTube, neither do any of us. Really thinks he's big and bad enough to force people to comply with his idiotic, ridiculous commands like Umar Johnson. No knowledge, dude. He came over to Gerald's live stream. We did not all pick up and go looking for him. He came over to Gerald's spot, trying to attack me, or did attack me. Why? Because I'm defending myself. It is pitiful to see people who claim to be about fairness, who claim they have an issue with Umar Johnson and his frog, supporting somebody like Binary, who's a race-attacking misogynist who sets upon people who are disabled. But that's for them to reconcile in the end. I guess they think it somehow insulates them from attack? No, it doesn't. It wreaks havoc on your conscience if you're even a halfway decent person and you claim to be against Umar Johnson's fraud and you sit up under people like Binary Code and no knowledge. Something is seriously amiss because no knowledge, this agitation that he's carrying, it has nothing to do with me. The agitation that he is carrying for me because I'm defending myself is about no knowledge. Do you not have the guts to defend yourself? I'm well taken care of over here, no knowledge. That was taken care of early on in childhood, that I will defend myself. What about you? Stay in your nasty, disgusting spaces. And if you decide you don't want to defend yourself, you be a coward punk ass and don't defend yourself. Don't you dare come over anywhere where I am and tell me I don't defend myself. I will do just that. Anybody who thinks they are going to threaten me, slander me, accuse me of being a criminal, try to think they're going to threaten me with sexual torture and rape, and think I'm going to sit up here and keep my mouth shut? What kind of indoctrination and brainwashing were you raised with? If you think that idiotic disposition is going to hold over, Lord help you. You need all the help you can get, but you're not going to impose that bullshit on me. You're not going to guilt me. I don't care how many people, whoever has how many people in any freaking live stream. You can't get enough people in a freaking louse-filled live stream to shut me up, to dissuade me, to stop me from posting videos, to prevent me from reminding your asses any chance I get what exactly happened. You don't even have the courage or the fortitude to turn me off. I turn you off. I don't go to your nasty ass spaces. People send me screenshots of the shit you're saying. Number one, they want to monitor your asses to make sure you're not threatening me. And number two, your dumbass comments are actually something we can learn from. I can put them up on the screen and I can actually garner benefit from it by way of showing people this is what you don't do and why. And here are the specific perils you can encounter if you adopt this particular belief. And this is exactly what's going on when people verbalize and express this. You shouldn't be calling and ruining people's lives and calling their jobs and this. That's their problem. They don't have the guts to protect themselves. They're just at the mercy of any whim that comes their way. I would be incredibly angry if I lived a life like that. I had to just sit here and wait for whatever came my way because I didn't have the guts to stand up. And trust you me, a gutless person absolutely would be an angry person. Just imagine inside. You know you're gutless and you know when you have courage. You can't fool yourself either way. I don't care how much bravado people try to demonstrate on the exterior. A gutless person is a gutless person by way of their actions. And them trying to barrel into spaces and barrel into you and trying to bully you into thinking you should be ashamed for defending yourself is a telltale sign. Doesn't fly. Doesn't matter how many people are clamoring around people like this. It's quality, not quantity. The terror people experience when they see other people set apart and holding their ground. You see the frenzy, the swell continuing to build. The chorus gets louder against these people, thinking they can drown them out and bully them and harangue them and harass them, beat them down, and hopefully get them to join in. That's not going to happen if anybody has any self-respect. If you have self-respect, you do not sit under anybody who denigrates your race. That is very telling. And then you turn around and try to say, don't file a complaint against binary code because of his, he's got children and he's married. That's binary code's issue. That has nothing to do with me. Because a person has a wife and children, allow them to do what? Be a race-attacking misogynist who attacks disabled people? Who thinks he can target the black race? That is his problem. No knowledge is binary code's flunky. I am not, never have been, never will, haven't spent a single second over in binary code's live stream or channel. I don't care. But I do want to say to those out there who stand up for what's right and stand up for what's decent, I thank you for alerting me to all these attacks that have gone on. I don't care how many times somebody posts their children up on the channel, how many times they bring in teenagers to help them do shows. You all told me about it. Send me the pictures. It's irrelevant. What binary code did is what binary code did. And he has to answer to that. That's not my issue, people. Not my issue. So many gutless people out there. That is your problem if you're gutless. That is not my issue. I will continue doing what I'm doing. Challenge yourself. If I'm so insignificant to you, don't listen to my videos. Tune out. You can't. Why? Because you need the videos to survive. You're using my content because you have none. You have nothing to say other than talking about my videos. Pretty pitiful. At least I am providing information from which people can learn. You're not providing any information. The you is a you understood whoever it applies to. You're just helping people continue to gripe. Griping doesn't help. It actually increases anxiety levels because the griping and the complaining and the whining has an objective. The objective is another source that isn't influenced by the whining and the crying and the griping. You have just witnessed one of the most vile forms of hypocrisy and ironies when it comes to accusing someone of bullying other people and ruining people's lives while they're expecting others to accept a situation while others are attempting to do the same to them. If people decide they want to ruin each other's lives, who has control over that? Nobody. But you can't tell other people, you must let me ruin your life. Not going to happen, at least not here. You all know there's so much more to come. In the meantime, you know the drill. Fire. Beware.